Hey, Shalom. Thanks for coming over here to Hebrew Literacy. Really appreciate having you guys at the channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing and smashing that like button if you like what we're doing here. Sorry for the YouTube cliches. So, also, I want to say thanks, everybody. We are well on our way. We're about to hit 5,000 subscribers, so that's really, really cool. Now, most of those subscribers don't contribute prayer or anything to the ministry. So I would really appreciate if you are getting some value out of these teachings. That takes quite a bit of time here. Then I would appreciate if you would consider prayerfully, perhaps contributing something. If you'd like to become a monthly patron, you can do that over at patreon.com/Hebrew Literacy. Or if you just want to do a one-time donation, you can do that at paypal.me. That's me / Hebrew Literacy. Please make sure to click friends and family. Otherwise, they take a pretty big cut out of it. So you're not really buying a product that's returnable anyway, so you don't really need the buyer protection, I don't think. Okay, so let's just say a quick prayer. תפתח את פי כי אני יכול לדבר רק כי אתה רוצה. לא לי ולך יהיה כל הכבוד, אדוני. All right, so continuing here with our directed Hebrew immersion, we are in Exodus chapter 28, verse 29, and this is early access for some of our patrons over at Patreon. So you're going to see this a week before everybody else, I think. So just trying something here. We'll see. Okay, so here it goes. Venasa Aharon. So here's our verb, nasa, and here's the subject, Aharon. I like to do things in gray that are names, right? So you see Aharon, Yisrael, and Hashem, right? The name. So nasa, we've learned this if you've done my 60-second vocabulary videos. Nasa, like NASA, is to carry, like NASA carries things into space, right? To carry or lift up. So nasa Aharon means Aaron carried. But then we have the vav reversive or the vav conversive here, however you want to call it, which changes the aspect to make it all imperfect. Imperfect means an incompleted action. This usually maps in English to what we would call, for time, like a present or future tense event, although it can be past continuing through to present, but usually it's more like a future. So then nasa Aharon, then Aaron shall lift up the nasa Aharon et. That is our definite direct object marker, the DDO. What will he lift up? Shemot, bene, Yisrael. And I just realized I got my microphone. I moved it. Hold on, let me get it closer. Sorry about that. Construct chain. The last word is a name, so that will make the whole chain definite, which means we try to put the word the all over the place in our chain. And of course, in a construct chain, we put of in between the words. I like to use an aqua block or to use a blue block to mark the words that are in the construct form or part of the chain. Sorry, that was just kind of sloppy. Wish you would let me use that Android function. I have another program that I like to draw on stuff in when I'm taking notes on Talmud or something like that. And if you just hold down the stylus, it'll make the form nicer. If it sees it's a rectangle, it makes it a nice rectangle or oval or whatever. But nope, it's not having that over here in PowerPoint. So Israel is definite. We will impute that definiteness to the whole chain. Which means we're going to get the. So in translating, the shemot, names of the bene, which is children of Yisrael. The bene Yisrael are the children of Israel, not the sons of Israel. We only translate the sons of Israel when we are specifically talking about the sons, right? For example, Judah, Dan, etc. So the names of the children of Israel. That last word is a name, so it imparts its definiteness to the whole chain. What are the three ways we can make? Well, we understand that a noun is definite. A noun is definite if it does these things or qualifies in one of these ways. One way is if it's a name, a so-called proper noun. It's a name. The next way is if it has a suffix on the end. Actually, let's not do that. Let's say it has the definite article. We'll do that one next. That's the word the. If it's got the definite article on it, well, yeah, it's definite article. And the third way in which a word is definite, a noun is definite, is if it has a pronominal suffix on the end. Okay, the example I like to use is you've got a volleyball, so it could be the volleyball. That would be rule number 2. The ball, right? So it's not any old ball. We know which one it is. It's the. Or it could have a suffix, my ball, the ball of E, right? Or his ball, her ball, etc. Or it could have a name, Wilson. Any of those things make it definite. So here we have Israel is a proper noun. It's a name. So it's definite. So it imparts that the to every word in the chain, unless it sounds weird in the language you're translating to. Okay? So venasa Aharon, and Aaron will give. Nasa is perfect, but the vav makes it imperfect here. Or he will, probably not give, he will carry et shemot bene Yisrael, the names of the children of Yisrael. Bechoshen hamishpat. Another nice construct chain. This one obeying the next rule, right? One of the other rules for definiteness. What have we got? We have ha, the actual definite article. So there's no question, because we have rule number 2 here, that this is a V. And he's going to impart that Venus to the first word in the chain. Okay. And the word starts with bait. This is a preposition that can mean lots of things: in, among, on. So we'll just say on, bechoshen hamishpat, on bechoshen hamishpat, on the bechoshen hamishpat. So on the breastplate of justice. It's almost like a superhero thing happening there. Quick, put on the breastplate of justice. And by the way, worth mentioning, mishpat, usually translated justice, a judgment, etc. It can also mean righteousness, because in Hebrew, righteousness is from doing justice. In other words, obeying the Torah, obeying the law defines what is mishpat, what is justice. And the synonym for mishpat, this is most clearly seen in the synonym for mishpat, picking a color here, which is tsedek. Whoa, what happened? Hold on. Okay, sorry, that was just weird. Tzedek. Tzedek. Oops, there's not room for the accent there. Okay, fine. That is a synonym to mishpat. And we have a very famous phrase in Devarim, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, which can be translated righteousness, righteousness you shall pursue, or justice, justice you shall pursue. In other words, you shall try to live by the Torah. You shall try to live by God's laws. You shall pursue it. It's so very interesting that we have the bechoshen hamishpat, the breastplate of justice, which you could understand has that kind of echo of breastplate of righteousness. It's something that also Rav Shaul, the Rabbi Saul, in the apostolic writings says, put on the breastplate of righteousness, right? Referring back to the Torah, to that ideal, which is from the book of the Torah that was more quoted by Yeshua, some scholars say, than any other book. I know some say Psalm, some say Devarim, Deuteronomy. I think Deuteronomy is actually correct. There's allusions to Psalm sometimes that aren't always there. So it's his favorite book of the Bible seemed to be the book of Deuteronomy, which is a summary of the law of God. And also, some say the book that a king had to write himself, had to copy himself. I know there's some traditions that say it's the entire Torah, but you kind of see the traditional appeal of it just being the book of Deuteronomy by the name in Greek. The Dev Torah was like the second nomia, right, from nomos, law, or even like Russian, Vtoroi Zakonia, right, the second zakon. So that this is like a summation of the law. So it might have been the entire Torah the king wrote, or he might have just copied the book of Deuteronomy. I think if you were wanting to fulfill this mitzvah in your own life, then it's a good idea to at least copy the book of Deuteronomy. Write that one down, and I think that's sufficient for fulfilling the mitzvah. So this is interesting. So Aaron shall take up or carry the names of the children of Israel. In this case, okay, it is going to be sons of Israel because we're talking about what's on the bechoshen hamishpat, right? Of these sons of Israel, the bechoshen hamishpat on the breastplate of righteousness, on the breastplate of justice. Very interesting. Gersonides comments that above them were the names of the patriarchs. We have this tradition, right? That Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Avinu, that above these stones that had their names were the names of the patriarchs. And that below them were the words tribes of Hashem, Matot Hashem. So that Aharon should be thinking of all 12 together, not each one separately, right? That we are unified as sons and daughters of Israel from whatever tribe you might be from, or if you are adopted into Israel, we are united as Am Echad, one people, just as we have Av Echad, one Father. Okay, let's continue. This is Exodus chapter 28, verse 29, B. That is the second part of the verse. Al, upon. Al, upon. Libo, lib-o. So you see I have this marked as a construct with the blue square around it. That's because whenever you put a suffix on a word in Tanachit, in biblical Hebrew, we first have to put that word into the construct state. So if you do this, it actually makes a lot of sense. If we think of the suffix, the vav, right, being at the end of a word, meaning he, him, his, etc. Okay. Then this next word, the first word here, leiv or levav, see the dagesh and the bait, the two baits probably collapse. So this is a shortened form, a construct form. So upon, heart of him, right? Lib, heart of him. It's okay to think of it like this if it's easier for you to recognize the pronominal suffixes and kind of break it down. If you're a native English speaker and you're translating into English, for example, you'll very quickly see that it doesn't sound good to say heart of him. What will we say? His heart. Libo, upon his heart. And lev levav usually means mind, if it's metaphorical in biblical Hebrew. Right? So for example, the very famous You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart means with all your mind, right? Because that's metaphor there. That's a metaphor. But in this case, it really literally is where his heart is, right? The life-giving organ. Because it's literal. The bechoshen hamishpat shall be al libo, upon his heart, right? That's where it's going to cover, right? The idea that his life-giving organ, that is where the names of the Israelite tribe shall be. Bevo, oh, bevo, oh. What's happening here? What's happening here? So the bait literally means in, right? That literally means in. Okay, so I'll be literal first, and then we'll kind of break it down a bit. Bo is the verb to come, to arrive, right? Like we say, Baruch haba, blessed is the one who comes, who has arrived, and then oh, of him. So we have the same literal thing happening there. Selected black, and I got that kind of purplish color. So literally, be, in, coming, of him. This is a construct form of the verb, by the way. So usually what happens when we have a bait affixed to a construct form of the verb, we're going to translate that actually as when. Almost always, almost always. So when. But it's literally, if this helps you to remember this way, it's literally when coming, when arriving of him, right? When coming, bevo of him. So when he comes, so when you have a construct form of the verb and you put a suffix on the end, that's telling you who the subject of the verb is, right? A little bit different than our other discrete verbal forms. Bevo, when he comes, el, unto, hakodesh, hakodesh, ha, the, kodesh. Oops, the dagesh is part of it too. From ancient hal, hakodesh, the kodesh, the sanctuary, the holy place. Lizkiron, pardon me, lezikaron. That would have been something else. What I said at first. I had my glasses off. lezikaron. So the lamed is an inseparable preposition. 2 or 4. 2 or 4. Zikaron. Now the root of this word is zachar, which if you've done all of my 60-second vocabulary videos, the Hebrew words of the day, then you'll know that zachar means remember. 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 Zachar is to remember. And then we have this kind of diminutive noun over here, making it a noun. Don't confuse that with a paragogic noun. That is not the same thing. Okay? So a zikaron, it's like a little remembering. A memorial. It's a memorial. So what's a memorial? Shemot bene Yisrael bechoshen hamishpat. La'alibo. The names of the sons of Israel on the breastplate of justice upon his heart. When? Bevo, when he enters el hakodesh, unto the sanctuary. Le, it's for a zikaron, for a memorial, for a remembrance. And actually, you'll notice here we have a dagesh in the kaf. Hadn't thought about this before. The fact that there's a dagesh there tells us that this is derived from the Piel form of the verb. So zachar is just to remember, but ziker, the intensive form of the binyan, when you put a strong dagesh in the second root letter, 1, 2, 3, so that's here, the kaf, see the strong dagesh? You know it's strong because it's preceded by a vowel sound and it didn't go away, even though it's a begad kefat letter. So this is a strong dagesh. So the PL form is to designate something to remember, or even causatively to cause to remember. So something that causes you to remember, a zikaron, is a memorial, or a remembrance, right? A memorial. So it is left for a zikaron, a memorial. Liphney Adonai tamid. Liphney, before. And this is one of those words, it's true. You could break this apart and say, well, we have the lamed here. For, right? And we have a construct chain. And that's true. It is a construct chain. And it is definite. Because Hashem is a name. I know there's some teachers out there that say it's not a name. It's not correct. It is a name. So for the panim, drop the mem, face of or presence of Adonai. So it's useful, I think, guys, to just go ahead and memorize lifnei. Memorize that word as meaning before. Instead of trying to pick it apart every time. Lifnei is before, and that can mean spatially before, like in front of something, and it can also mean temporally, like you do this before such and such happens, okay? Before. So lifnei Adonai tamid. Tamid is a vocabulary word you might not have yet, but for some of you who have gone to synagogue before, let me just give you a hint. You might know this word already, or have heard it before. Do you know what the ner tamid is? The ner tamid? Oftentimes a red light that's on at the synagogue by the ark. The ner tamid. What is the ner? A light, right? A light. What kind of light? What kind of a lamp? Tamid. Eternal, continual. It's always on. You go to the shul, if you have keys to the shul. I used to have keys to the shul in Texas to go down and practice the Torah. You go down there, you go up there, whatever the case is, and you'll see the light is always on. It's the Ner Tamid reminding us of the lamp that was always on in the temple in temple times. So Tamid is continual, perpetual, that kind of thing. Continual. Okay? So let's go through this one more time. Maybe we'll even cant it. Zooming in for those of you on smaller screens, though this is available in full HD. Pardon me, full HD. UHD, ultra high definition, that's 4K. So even if you're watching it on a TV or some high resolution screen, you should be able to see all the details. venasa Aharon et shemot bene Yisrael bechoshen hamishpat alibo bevo'o el hakodesh lezikaron liphnei Adonai tamid. Okay. Venasa Aharon. So Aaron shall lift up, he shall nasa, carry it into space, lift up, et shemot bene Yisrael, the names of the sons, context told us it's sons instead of children, of Yisrael, bechoshen hamishpat, on the choshen, the breastplate of justice, or righteousness is the overtone, that breastplate of righteousness. Upon libo, his livav, his heart. Bevo, when he comes, or in coming of him, when he comes, el hakodesh, unto the sanctuary. Lezikaron, for a something that causes you to zachar, a memorial. Liphney Adonai tamid, before Adonai, before Hashem, tamid, continuously, perpetually. Okay, so that's the end for this class. I think that's pretty good detail. I'm trying to do these better sizes for everybody. And let's see, I'll leave the notes there just for a second in case you want to take a screenshot or something. If there are any questions, I'm here with you live in the chat right now if you're in the Premiere. If you're not in the Premiere, feel free to leave a grammar question down below. That is totally fine. Or if you'd like to join our Hebrew learning community, it is a non-sectarian community, the channel about Hebrew literacy. Even though, of course, I bring to it my own personal biases. And most of the people in there are similar to me in our particular belief that the Torah is still in effect, while having the testimony of the Messiah as well. But if you want to join us and you don't mind our biases over there, then you can use the Telegram app. That works on Mac, Windows, Linux, iOS, Android, etc. And you can find us over at t.me, that's me, / Hebrew literacy. Just like this channel on YouTube. We are the at Hebrew literacy channel on YouTube. Hebrew literacy. Now that will land you in an admin screening area, okay? Sometimes people, they bounce because they're like, what, there's only 6 people here? No, a couple hundred people almost over there. The admin area has 6 people because we want to meet you first and make sure to protect our community. And once you join the community, then you'll also be protected in that same way. The admins spend a decent amount of time screening and making sure everybody is safe over there, okay? All right, so thank you so much for your time. You have a blessed rest of the day ahead. I'm so glad you guys are doing this. You can do it. There are so many success stories. Now, I've got screenshots of, I don't know, 70 something people when I started taking the screenshots who have given me shout outs that they've really had their biblical Hebrew just explode in a successful way since they've started participating in our directed immersion programs rather than just fighting to go through grammars and that sort of stuff. So hopefully you'll find the same success. If you're new, reach out to our community. We'll answer your questions. Not only myself, but there's many students over there who've been studying for a number of years, and they also like to help too. So we can help each other really being Yisrael, wrestling with the divine, which is the text. Shalom, shalom.